So a couple of weeks ago, I put out a thing on Instagram to ask people for recommendations and referrals for somebody that could be on the podcast. And like I said, if you don't follow me on Instagram, go do it. I try to interact with my audience as much as I can on there. But I was on Instagram and I got hit up for the second time this name has been mentioned. And they were like, you've got to get a hold of Coach Blackwell. I got to get a hold of Coach Blackwell. So I finally was able to make it happen where we scheduled an interview. I really appreciate her busy schedule, but you're going to enjoy this one today. Super cool opportunity to hear from Coach Marianne Blackwell from Middleton, Idaho. She played there in high school, but she also is back coaching there, and she coaches on the club circuit as well. And so today in this interview, you'll get to hear a little bit about her experience as a player and what she learned throughout that whole journey from junior college to Division I, where she played at BYU. You'll also get to hear the difference in the eras of basketball, which she was a part of, and compared to now, the difference in women's basketball specifically compared from then to now. And we get to talk about a lot of things on the coaching side. I pick her brain on a couple of topics that are important to me as a coach, and just like learning how to deal with pressures and learning how to deal with parents and how to, what are some of the benefits of sports that she sees and like all the different things and the power of your surroundings. There are so many golden nuggets in this interview, and I'm stoked to share them with you guys today. So get ready. This is the Gametime Guru. So
what time is it? Game time.
This is the Gametime Guru Podcast, where I interview sports figures from all over the world to help deliver a panoramic view on sports. So whether you're a former athlete, one of the crazies, or simply a casual sports fan, this is the perfect show for you as we peel back the curtains and learn from our guests every single week. I'm your host, Shane Larson, and I'm helping you see sports through a different lens. What's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of the Gametime Guru Podcast. Shane Larson here, host of the show. Excited to be here with you for another interview, another episode, another awesome opportunity to learn, get some insights and wisdom from a guest of ours in the sports world. And this time we're going to be talking about the women's side of basketball specifically. And joining me, as you guys heard in the introduction, is Marianne Blackwell, also known as Coach B. And so, Coach, I just want to say thanks for joining the show.
Thank you so much, Shane. I really appreciate this.
Heck yeah. So I have to give a shout out. There's been a couple of times in the last couple of months where like sometimes I'll go onto Instagram and I'll say, hey, who has a referral for someone that I can talk to? And during that time, I got to make sure I'm pronouncing her name right, but is it Nolan Shriver?
Oh, Nolan. Yes. Nolan.
Nolan Shriver, both times. And I'm going to read it right now while I have my Instagram, because I pulled it up because both times I sent out, like on Instagram, we have that notes function. So you can send a note out and it just posts up on the platform. I said, anybody have any referrals? And Coach Blackwell out of Middleton, this is back in June. The collab would be fire. And then obviously I had messaged, but I think it just went to probably the different inbox or whatever. And then I messaged out again on September 30th, and I was just asking people for some referrals. Nolan Shriver, Coach Blackwell. And I was like, I'll reach back out to her. She's like, yes,
that's so kind of her that she's that passionate about wanting me to be on here. That's sweet of her.
Well, there you go. You got your PR, your marketing right there. Because I was like, okay, we're gonna make this happen. So, Coach, I want to kind of pick your brain a little bit. Before you got into the coaching side of things, give us a little bit of a background of, I guess, Coach Blackwell, Coach B, as a basketball player, and when you kind of got into the sport itself. Did you compete yourself in basketball?
I did, growing up in this valley of Treasure Valley, actually a Middleton High School alumni. So this is really, I get passionate about. I'm from a family of 10, and our family was very much that's all we did was sports. I mean, I grew up playing sports my whole life, like in the backyard. We didn't have to go find people. We played against each other, and I had 6 brothers. So from the get-go, my dad would always say he's got 10 boys, because we literally were raised to just compete and be aggressive and all of those things, because we had to fight for everything. I felt like, with 6 brothers, but I started playing at a young age. I didn't get the opportunity that a lot of these kids get. Like, I played 7th grade basketball, and that was the start of it for me, and just fell in love with the passion. And to go really honestly back, I played all 3 sports through high school. I felt like, it gave us an opportunity too, because we lived in Middleton, and back then that was a thing that you could do. It didn't really even matter as far as your skill level at that point. I mean, yeah, we were still competitive. I mean, I'm not going to downplay it at all as far as like, oh, anyone could make it. But I'm just saying that just really emphasized to me that I loved everything that I did. And basketball just, to be honest, just opened doors for me to be able to play at the next level. I went and played JUCO at UBSC, and then I transferred to BYU, and that's where I graduated from and played basketball there. Our team was able to make it to the Sweet 16, and I just loved sports in general, and I just knew what it did for me, that I always knew I was going to give back because of my experience that I had. And so coming back to Middleton just shy of 10 years now, I've been back in the Valley. I have 6 kids of my own, and we played, that's what they've known. And not that I've drilled that in them. I just wanted them to find a passion, because whether it was sports or something else, find something that drives you. And I'm just, yeah, so most 99% of them play basketball, and it's been really fun. I've been in the coaching world since I left college, really. I mean, I went back for years and coached all of the BYU camps and did all of that. And then as my girls got older, I remember when I moved here, I just put out a note to anybody that played back, that had it, even in a desire. Zoe, that's my senior now, was in 1st grade. So I just said, hey, anybody have a desire? I just want them to get around it. And all we did was dribble tag, playing with, I mean, and there was nothing like, this needs to be competitive, for almost till they were 4th grade. And then we started just saying, hey, let's enter into some games, because I'm such an advocate that the basic fundamentals will take you a long way. And I think sometimes we want to surpass that and play just nothing but games, but we can get into that. So that's
that's a great point, though. We'll get into that here in a second. I want to take notes on that. Going back, though, so in the Middleton days, was that when Middleton was still 3A?
We were 2A, so we were
2A.
second biggest at the time, and we lost, no different. So this kind of like brings me like to my heartstrings. Last year when we lost in the state championship, I lost my junior year. My sister was a senior, I was a junior, and my other sister was a sophomore, and we all played together on the varsity team, and we lost 23-0 going into the state championship and lost it. So it does. It feels like I told them it's a burn that'll never go away, and it still hasn't. So
to that point, then, Coach, like I actually I had a couple of things to branch off of, but I want to ask you that, because I didn't know that fact. Losing at that point, and then having that, like, as a player, I'm talking about as your time as a player, and then you still went on to the next level to compete, I guess. And it never really got out, like, you never really get over the loss. Like, you move on and you do the thing, but it always will probably stay in there. And there's other things that might trigger that from time to time, like whether it be a loss, similar loss, or whatever. There are a lot of athletes that I've coached that have had that experience where they lose in a high level game and they never get back to that. Some of them never get the opportunity back. And so it plays in their mind a little bit, and it almost, in a sense, can hinder them in their progression years later. Right. Because they always feel like, man, I might not ever get that back. I'll never get to play in a state championship again. That might have been my last opportunity. And who knows if I'm going to ever win in college. How did you move on to at least still compete? Because you obviously played at a high level after JUCO, go to BYU. How did you, feel it? You still feel it. You understand the loss sucks, but how did you allow yourself to move forward?
I think it's anything in life, and that's something that I feel very grateful for parents that ingrained in me. You work hard for everything. You work so hard for this moment, but don't let that moment define you, win or lose. You work hard to get to this level of, hey, I want to be a CEO or something, and somebody else got hired above you. I just think we put so much pressure upon ourselves that, yeah, of course, I want it to be a stinger. And that's what I told my players as I left that day. I just said, I mean, it does. I'm serious. My heartbeat's already up. I get emotional, like choked up, because I think it's something we, yes, hold dear. Like, this does hurt, but it doesn't define. I mean, we worked so hard to get here. Everybody does. So count yourself truly blessed that we got to this moment. Yeah. Did it end how we wanted? Heck no. But that definitely doesn't stop us here, and that should only fuel you because it's not losses, it's opportunities. And it's like, this is another opportunity. We're gonna put that dagger in and we're going to go back to the grindstone and we're going to go back to work. And I think I felt like that fueled me for the next level. Like, it doesn't stop here, Mayor. Like, I want to be even better. Like, I just want to. And I hope I really hope that's what they've taken away from that moment, because yes, take the moment, let it hurt, let it all. But when it's all said and done, this is what we do it for. This is why we play and we work hard every day, is to get to this moment. And it doesn't define us, because I think 9 times out of 10, we come back to it, we might win it. So you can't hang your hat. It doesn't feel good. It never will, but I'm grateful. Like I told him, it's been almost 30 years now. I'm grateful I even got that opportunity, because not a lot can say that.
Oh, 100%. It goes back to the fact, like in the sports world, there can only be one winner. And that's what I think people forget, that it's like there can only be one. Like, there's a lot that don't win. And that's just the reality.
And I think that's just I know. And I'm so passionate about that, in the fact that we, in this world I feel like that we're living in, is everyone's a winner, and it's not. And it's okay too. Like, it's okay to say we lost. We're just going to go back and we're going to keep working hard. But it's this, well, everyone's a winner, and don't say that you're a losing team. I mean, I don't know. I think that we lose that whole aspect of what it means to work hard. I mean, if we're all winners, what are we aspiring for?
Yeah, it's a great point. It's a great point. And that's why I think sports can teach you so much, though, like, because you have to feel it. You work hard for something. And if you win or lose, like, especially if you lose, there's more losers than winners in the sports world, right? Only one team can win. And so you have to feel it. You have to go through that.
You have to go through it.
And it prepares you. Oh, that's great. And another thing that you mentioned that I wanted to touch base on is playing multiple sports. That's a thing that I'm noticing now is not as common, I guess, at a younger ages. I too was a multi-sport athlete. I mean, I graduated in 2006, so it's been a minute, but like, I played multiple sports through high school, played multiple sports through middle school. Like, it was mainly just 3, but like, it feels like that's not as easy to do anymore because of the club sports scene, basketball being one of those, where like club sports start taking effect when they're like 6, 7 years old at times. And so I'm curious your thoughts on that. Do you feel like at what age still, like you mentioned your kids, like 4th grade, maybe you can start getting in the competitive games, playing dribble tag and stuff, but do you feel like 4th grade's a good age for them to start competing?
I don't know that there's a magical number. I just know that I've seen a lot over the years of great athletes committing so early and playing year round one sport. By the time they are juniors and seniors, to finally say, okay, now I want to actually commit to this area or direction of my life, call it quits, because they're so burned out. And I've always been an advocate. I know in the college world, I've been around a lot of college coaches. Yes. Have I coached it? No, but I do know that still plays a factor. Like, hey, what else do you do? Like, tell us, what else do you do? I think they find it. I believe that it's still a beneficial factor. It's like, well, good. Your mind and body still need other things. Like, I'm just such an advocate. Yeah, by the time you're a junior, you should start probably, if that's the next higher level of the college aspect that you want to go, you probably should start like saying, hey, I'm going to do this. I mean, I can give an instance because it's my daughter. She started as a freshman. She ran track. She did it all. She played club basketball, but she wasn't able to compete at state or district, but she still wanted to run track. And so, but by the time it became like, okay, so now you're in the shoe circuit, this is where the colleges are looking at you, something has to give. You know what I mean? Just because of time, not because I don't want you to not do it, but if this is the direction and your passion, you really want to go with it, let's make it happen. Let's go do it. And so she gave up doing track and, just said, I'm going to really focus that energy. I just hope that kids, it really does. It breaks my heart to see that so many people in all facets, it's not just basketball, but that are just driving forces that you have to do this at a young age and you have to do this only. I'm not in favor of it, and I never have been. And I'm not saying that if it's not your desire, that I'm going to say, well, I go for it. But it's definitely not something I love. And I'll tell you right now, I mean, our open gyms, I ran early my first few years but 99% of all my girls play another sport. And so I want to be an advocate of that. It's like, yeah, you go do that. That's what you should be doing. I mean, I'm in favor of it. I just say, don't start you're only a kid once. And I think
Yeah.
we just burn kids out and burn kids of being kids by starting too early of really forcing it. And that's all I wanted at first grade, is just find a love for it first. I'm not telling you have to, we're going to go win games. I mean, even games at 12th grade, they still don't know how to do a proper screen or a pick because all they've done is games. You know what I mean? So they lose the fundamental part. But
totally. Oh, this is so good. I would like to ask, so like, what other sports did you compete in besides basketball?
So I played volleyball, and to be honest, that was my first love. Like, I was going on a volleyball scholarship, and then UVSC reached out to me and said, "Hey, we'd love for you to play basketball." And I was wanting to go down there to do both. And then I figured out real quick that that was too difficult. But I played volleyball, I played basketball, and then I played softball. So
Oh, wow. Do you feel like one translated to the other better than some? Like, did volleyball and basketball pretty much translate in better ways, or did you feel like you benefited from each of them? Did they cross over at
I
all?
definitely, yeah, I benefited, I feel like, from each of them. I mean, I definitely still had my hands on a ball just because I went home every night. My brothers were playing pickup, so from
Yeah.
volleyball to basketball. And that's all I tried to tell my girls, especially that want to play on that next college level. Just keep a ball in your hands, because you do lose if you're not still like, yeah, I love that it's using different body motions and different, physicalness, but I'm always like, hey, keep a ball in your hands. Like, you can always shoot without having to run or get hurt or, or dribble. But so I think it transitions. I mean, I don't know. A small percentage go on. And so for people to say that this is all I want to do and then miss out on 4 years, you never get back. And then you look back in 15 years and go, flip, why didn't I
Yeah.
just play? I wish I would have just played, you know?
Yeah, exactly. I have some of those regrets myself. I hate saying regret, but like, I have some of those thoughts, I should say, of some, I wish I wouldn't have focused on just one sport through high school after my sophomore year. I still had some stuff in the tank to play some football and do my thing. So
For
yeah,
sure.
I go back and I think about it sometimes. Coach, when you were in college, I wanted to ask this from a player's perspective. What was the biggest transition for you between the junior college level and then that of BYU? I guess, was it the physicality of the sport? Was it the
Oh, for
academics?
sure.
What was
For
it?
sure. It's the physicality of it. I mean, it was a big jump. I mean, yeah, they're high level players at the JUCO because that's back then all you did. You didn't go into a portal. You didn't go anything. You really either went to Division I or other divisions, you know what I mean? Or you went to JUCO in hopes to get somewhere else. And I think it was a big jump. And the academic side, of course, I mean, that's just at a university. I mean, it was, but I'm telling you, I tell my team all the time, and that's why I love is that I'm in your shoes. Like, I say that every day. Like, I know where you are. I was there. Like, and I'm telling you all of the things that I want you to learn from me without having to go through it, and just to enjoy the ride. I mean, I loved it. I tell my own kids it was the greatest experience of my life. And I came out of high school thinking I was the woman. And I go to a junior college and then to a university, and I'm no one. But I'll tell you what, I had the best, and my dearest friends to this day are those women. And I don't regret 1 ounce of it. So
I love hearing that. Being in the sport in different eras, from like players' perspective to a coach's perspective, what do you feel like the state of women's basketball is now, especially in the United States, compared to that of when you were playing?
Oh, so much. The resources these kids have, nothing like we had back then. They were coming to us. Now, in the college world, if you're not literally on a shoe circuit, or unless you are absolutely a phenom, you're not seen. And that's just the generational, like, essence of where it's come. And to be able to have all these resources and people working on your behalf to get you places, we just didn't have that. So I think it's definitely changed. immensely. And in a good way. I think, I really think in a good way. And I love that Idaho is being placed on a map. I think we have some outstanding female athletes that have come through here. And I love that the opportunity for them and seeing all the places that they're going and doing is awesome. I just love seeing it.
No, it is good. It's for being born and raised here my whole life, in the Treasure Valley myself. I'm a Meridian guy, but it is interesting. You always feel like Idaho gets left out. It's always been one of those where you had to struggle to be seen. You had to, like, I mean, if you were not the top dog, like, it was very, very difficult to go anywhere, for both men and women. And it feels like the women are being seen more. The men are being seen more too. But like the women's side, there are more female athletes coming out and going places, in multiple sports. So it is pretty sweet. As you look at, you're a coach at the high school level. You're a coach at the club level. This is the next question I wanted to talk about, because I too coached club basketball. I coached the unsigned seniors for Idaho Premier for the last 5 years. I love coaching on the club circuit. But there is a difference. There is a tad of a difference when it comes to coaching at high school. I mean, there's just a structure there with like where you live in your region. There are parents. There is just a difference there. And then there's also some things that come along with the club scene. There's a money component that's involved there with an investment from the families into their kid playing. It's obviously traveling. But I want to ask you, I guess, if you could pick out some of the differences, and maybe there's stuff that you like from each. What do you enjoy about both sides of coaching? Because it is a little bit different. The game's the same sort of, but it's the same sport.
Well, I think it's just the desire of the athlete at that point is a little different. Their desire is okay. And you can focus in on more of just skill level, like, hey, this is what we need to like really what I call hone in on so that we can get you seen. But they're at that level that they're truly committed, giving time daily. I mean, it's just a different level of like commitment. And then that's what I see at the club level. And you can treat it that way. I mean, not that high school, and I love, that's the greatest part of it. I get a little piece of both. And that's what I love so much, because you come back to the high school, and the high school, I feel at the level is here you have this camaraderie of girls, whether they've grown up together or not, you're coming together as one to represent not only each other, but a community, all of these, and teaching them what life skills are about in the midst of playing basketball. And that's a big difference. Here at the circuit level, at the club, you're taking individual girls and saying, hey, now let's mold you together, but yet let's get you to the next level. And where do you see you? Where do you want to be? What do you feel like your strengths and your weaknesses are? Let's get those dialed in. And so that's by the time school's done, I'm ready for that. And then when club's done, I'm like, I'm ready to get back to like, hey, this is what it's about. But both have such great, I mean, I would never knock either, because I think both, and that's the greatest thing. I get a little piece of the pie of both, and I love it. I really do love it.
That's awesome. I look at the club circuit, and I like to study different circuits, different tournaments, different programs, just seeing how they're ran. It's always interesting to me on the club side, how I always felt like the speed of the game is faster. Typically it's not as well officiated, in my opinion, just because you have tournaments and a lot more games going on. They got to find a lot more referees.
Right.
But it's the one that gets the recruitments out the most. So it's just always so interesting to me. It's like the least common to a true officiated, regulated game, but it's the one that where you're getting recruited. Anyway, it's just an interesting concept to me. However, I love the club game because bringing in multiple athletes from different schools, and they're forced in a sense to play a different role. What are your thoughts on that when you're taking, some of these players that are a little bit more invested into like their recruitment and trying to compete and get better on a club scene? They're traveling, they're playing in these bigger tournaments, better competition, typically speaking. What's your opinion on them playing different roles? You might get the star from this school and the star from this school, and they're coming on. Well, now they got to split roles. They got to split touches. And so what is your opinion on that?
And that's a fun thing too, because you truly are taking the cream of the crop of, as far as skill level, as them and their desires to go to the next level. Not that saying that we don't have a lot of cream of the crop just at high school, but their mentality of like, hey, I'm going and taking this to the next level is really fun. Like this last year, our club in the 16s and the 18s make it to the Elite Eight of the national our 17s lose the national championship game. And it's just fun. But my mentality doesn't change. And that's what's fun. It's like, I bring them in. It's like, hey, I get you were the star, but us together is what's going to be the star. And you're going to be seen because, hey, you're going to get a killer pass from her. That's a dynamite. People are looking at her. She's going to feed off of you. I mean, I think that's what's so fun, is to bring them together and saying, and to be able to say, hey, the game doesn't change. Defense, in my opinion, and I'll vouch this till probably the day I'm in the grave, that wins championships. And I tell them that. I'm like, I get you spend hours in the gym crafting your game. Show me what you got on defense, because that's where it starts for me. And let's show them what you've got, because we already know, they already see the stat side of, hey, you can put up 150 shots and make 60%. Let's show them what you got on, and the grit part that comes with defense that you can't put on paper. And that's all right here. And I think that's what's so fun.
Dude, I love that. So Coach, I want to ask you this too, because I'm going to give you my experience. I won't speak on behalf of any other coach but myself, but I want to ask if you've seen anything similar, because it goes back to something that you said earlier on the fundamentals. I'm coaching the unsigned seniors this last year, and this last spring. I had 2 teams that I was coaching. And here's what I'm going to tell you. It is interesting to me how many of these guys, I'm being dead serious, didn't understand the concept. They understand the concept, but it was not ingrained in them, even at that age, to box out. Okay. I'm talking fundamentals of I can't even explain to you how many times we gave up offensive rebounds because we simply didn't box out. And it came down to, you mentioned something that was like grit and stuff. And it comes down to that sometimes. All the other team had to do is just have that grit to try to crash boards, and they have to sleep in a lot. So we were like, man, and it comes down to it. I'm like, I wonder if they just didn't do that from a young age, and they just got so used to doing their offensive drills and stuff. But boxing out, I've always felt was even if you're not that great at defense, dude, as long as you just put a body on somebody and make them work for a rebound, you're going to get the rebound most of the time. Just box out, put a body on somebody.
And that's what I told them. I said, from a small portion I'm not saying they don't care, but they want to see beside shots. They want to see, what are you made of? And so and I always said that to them. Yeah, heck yeah, you got a killer game. You got a beautiful shot. That component is there, but they want to see other components. And that's where I said, and that's something that you just can't be written on paper. You really can't. You either have it in you or you don't. And I'm telling you, I said, college coaches, there's a lot more to the game than putting up shots.
Isn't it interesting? And now as a coach, I'm sure you're the same, right? You look at those things. You look at those things that aren't on the stat sheet. I'll watch guys, and that's why I call them out. I'm like, dude, I'll watch you. When this dude boxes another guy out, he doesn't even get the rebound, but he's boxing that dude out and he gets him out of the play. I'm like, hey, dude, at least you were fighting for it and making sure that dude didn't get in. And you didn't even touch the ball, but I appreciated you doing that because I saw it. I see those things. I'm sure you do too. You start to see how the college recruiters are looking.
Oh, yeah. And I know that because I just know a lot of them and what's around, and the game and that's a skill you just can't teach. And I tell my girls all the time that effort, you can't coach. And that's something you either come with. And I'm telling you, if you want it, it's there for the taking. And a lot of kids just don't want to put forth that extra effort. And I think it's there for anyone. I mean, you don't have to be, some phenom to bring in effort. And I say that to them all the time. And I truly believe, and I'm not even talking Middleton girls basketball, but I just believe that's what sets young girls apart from others, and what takes the game to, I can't tell you in the stands of all I hear, it's not like, oh man, you guys put up a ton of shots, or you do this. And it's like, I love that your girls get after it. And that's a slogan I said, take to heart, really be passionate and proud of that, because that just transforms you on the floor, off the floor. And what kind of effort are you willing to give in your work, in your school? I mean, and that's just, that's what I love about the game, and not just basketball, it's any sport. It's just what it teaches you life in general. And that was what was fun with club this year. We kind of started out rusty. It was like, okay, we got all these players, great players. I mean, by the end of I think I had 85% already had Division I, and they're 16-year-olds. And yet
Crazy.
I was like, oh, we've still got to crack this. We got to get this locked in. I mean, they're so not ready for that. Like, as far as we got to defensively get after it. And what came together at the end, it was fun to see. It really was.
There's a couple things that, man, you're like, this is where I'm geeking out. You mentioned effort. I can specifically speak to one guy that I just recently coached. His name was Cooper Crane. He played for Rocky Mountain High School. He's now playing for community college, and he didn't have any offers coming out of high school. But the reason that he was seen and in our club tournaments was his effort. Dude, the dude was a workhorse, and that was, I mean, he wasn't scared to put his nose in it. He was a capable scorer, but it wasn't his scoring that was the thing. It was every other component. He hustled. He wasn't scared to defend the best player on the other team. He wasn't scared to put a body on somebody. Even if he got beat, he put a body and made people work. And it's those little things. And that ultimately, like, watching him play, I'm like, I can't believe he didn't get as many minutes as, like, I don't know how. I don't know. That's not for me to determine, but like, I just couldn't believe he didn't play as much. I don't know how. Because when he was playing free and doing his game, he was unbelievably talented, which the college recruiters saw. So do you have someone in your experience coaching that maybe like a name of a girl that did stick out to you for the effort that she put in? I'm sure there's tons, but is there somebody that sticks out to you, whether it was somebody you played with or that you coached?
You know, shoot, there's so many. Back in the college days, there was Jennifer Leitner. I tell you, she was as tall. I had but that girl worked. She didn't, I mean, and it was strictly, I knew it. And that was something I always was like, girl, you should be like flipping Division I player of the year, in my opinion, on strict effort. And that sticks out to me. And that's what has stuck out to me. And I think that's been my expectation as a coach since I've started coaching. Just give me max effort. Like, leave it within these lines and everything else will fall into place. I promise you that. In life in general, I always tell my kids when something happens, I'm like, okay, what can you control? Like right now, deep breaths, what can you control? We can't control the outcome. And that's what I've just tried to like instill in my players. If they remember only one thing in their whole basketball career, going out into life, like control what you can control. And that's effort, attitude, and being a great teammate. And those are things you can. Everything else, yeah, we can't dictate if the ball's going to fall for us, but we can control our effort and all of the things that come with. And I always say, I want you to be like who you are and excited. You step in these 4 bounds, you become a different mental mindset. And that's just, I've always been that way.
No, I love that. It's easier said than done, but that's why, you mentioned something earlier that was, and you just referenced it right there too, is like life and sports, there's parallels. And this is a big reason I started this podcast in 2017 was just hearing stories like this and trying to show the parallels between sports and real life. And that's one of them, effort. It's easier said than done when something doesn't go your way, whether you're at work and your boss does X, Y, and Z, or like you think you've done it right, but it doesn't go right. You think you've communicated every possible scenario that you can, and apparently the communication still gets missed, and all of a sudden everything's right. Well, you got to find a way to control the controllables, right? Like, and that's something that you learn through sports when the heat is on, when the storm hits. And I think that's why it's such a good breeding ground for like real life. Sports are just, it forces you to learn those things. I wish the players, and that's why I do this show, would understand that while they're in it and appreciate that, because I promise you, like we all do it. You just said it right there. Like you'll draw on those experiences later.
And let me add one thing, James. I want that because I think it's not only for the players. I think as parents, we sometimes have to just take that step back and allow those things. I know we're all passionate about our own kids and we don't want to see them like go through hard things. And it is easier said than done. And that's why I just really try to tell my parents, communicate with your kids so your kids can learn to communicate to me. Because in the real world, you can't fight their battles. And those are things that I'm really passionate and I'm upfront about. Like those are like bar none expectations. Like, please don't come to me. Like, yes, come to me with everyday life scenarios. If your child struggles, I want to know. Like, there's no bigger advocate for your kid than me. But if I wasn't pushing them, I wouldn't be doing them any service. And so allow them to struggle, to go through hardship. Maybe it is not playing a game, or, they didn't get in that game, or they didn't do this. I just think sometimes as parents too, we have to just and I know it's harder than it's hard because we are so passionate about our kid, and our kid is the next best thing in our eyes and always will be. But I think we have to allow those things to transform for our kids, for them to be the very best they can be when they leave your nest. Like, that's what I'm always telling them. I'm trying to help you. It does take a village. So allow this too to help them in life, because it will stop at some point here. But what they've learned here will help them flourish, in hopes, that's our biggest hope, that it will help them flourish for the rest of their life. So we can't run to every struggle that they have. And yes, trust me, I'm saying on a level that, hey, you didn't get playing time or this and that. Yes, if there are things that as a parent you need to step in for because lines are crossed, as far as like, any time of like manipulate, you know what I mean? I'm just saying in general, I think it's as good for parents it is kids. Like, let them. Like, I remember very well, this is just a quick story. One of my boys didn't play as much as he wanted to, but I always said, hey son, did you put in the work? Like, do you really feel like you've put in the work to be able to like go vouch that, hey, I said, go do it. And moms all around me are like, how come you're not emailing the coach and talking to them? I'm like, are you kidding me? No, I'm not fighting his battle. Like, Brock, you go. And sorry, I just named my son out, but he knows, and he says to this day, that's been the greatest lesson to this point in his life, is that I made him do that. I've created that. I want you to be like, you can have that in you to say, hey, coach, and it's okay. And that's what I want for my players. I'm like, come to me anytime. I hope you never feel that I'm not approachable. I want you to say, hey, I want more playing. Great, let's have this conversation. But I want them to do that for them. Like I said, no, I'm here to be his cheerleader. Wherever he sits, if it's on the bench, on the floor, that's up to him if he chooses it, that he wants to put in the work to play. And that's what I am. And I will die on it. And I've had a lot of run-ins with having that motto, because some parents just don't feel that way. They feel like that's their role as their parent. And it's coaching comes with all of that. You all already know all that. So
well, that's an interesting thing on coaching, though. People don't really understand that, I don't think, at least from my eyes. And I didn't understand it until I started coaching, to be honest. I've been around sports my whole life. But like, you're dealing with parents and their children, right? And so there's a lot of responsibility there. And I don't think people understand the magnitude of what the stress load that the parents bring at times. And sometimes they mean well for their children, as you were mentioning. They mean well. They want to protect their kids. But it brings a lot of stress.
It does.
When you're getting side commentary from the peanut gallery over here while you're trying to take care of their kids and try to focus on the X's and O's. I mean, you're going to sleep at night and you're having to always worry about that. So it causes you to hesitate in the work that you're doing, which when we hesitate, we don't execute it as well. So it's cool that you've set that. And another thing you mentioned, it's funny because I was just talking to my friend. His name's Bryson. And my 5-year-old just started playing basketball this week. At the time of this recording, my 5-year-old just started playing basketball the first time. He's playing in the little rec league. And they're like, hey, do you want to coach? And people always wonder why, like, I'll coach some sports for my kids. And then sometimes I like to give it a little bit of a balance. I don't want to always be their head coach and all that stuff. I don't mind coaching. I love it. But there's some sports that and some opportunities, I feel like it's better for them to get a different coach's perspective and learn to respect authority. That's not me. And learning that. And so I was just talking to him this afternoon, talking to him about his first basketball practice, because he's the coach, and they were wondering why I wasn't helping coach. And I'm like, I don't want to right now. I want to watch him struggle a little bit and like learn and grow. Because as a parent, it's actually very fulfilling for me to watch my little kids like start to gain confidence when I'm not around them. I just let them do their thing and watch them struggle, which is hard for me as a parent, but you watch them struggle. So I love that you said that, because I'm experiencing it to a different degree at a smaller level here right now. So
and I think if you can just enjoy it, because it really does come to an end at some point. And I just want them to look back as a parent too, that I was their biggest supporter on the sideline, but I also taught them to be advocates for themselves, because I do know that they won't be in my shelter a whole long time. And so from the very start, I just said, and we've all seen those parents that you feel almost embarrassed for because they are to the opposite of extreme. And I just was like, I vowed to myself, as passionate. I mean, you won't find anybody more passionate than me, that I would just be and allow, because I've been on both sides. I'm a coach to two daughters on my own team. And, so I know both sides of that. And so I just really try to, on the coach's side, and my kids have known that since they were little, though, because they've coached me. I will, when I step on this floor, I'm a coach, and I will be addressed as that, and I will think like that. As much as I love you, and I hope it never hurts your heart, it shows, I promise you, but I will think as a coach, and I have to, and that's where I always will. And on the parent side, I'm here to support you. Like, I'm your biggest cheerleader, but I want you to go advocate for yourself. That's what you need to do. And your coaches will respect that far more than anything else. So, but
I love that. And I just had a couple questions left for you, and we'll wrap it up. I don't want to take too much of your time tonight, but I want to make sure I touch base on this. So I wrote it down. Just from a coach's perspective, I struggle with this, so that's why I wanted to ask somebody who's got more experience than me. How, like, given a little context, back in 2023, I was coaching in a tournament down in Arizona. It's one of those club tournaments where we got housed multiple times. It was actually it was pretty devastating. We went 0-6 over the course of 3 days, and it was like not even, I mean, we're talking 20-point losses in multiple games. And I was like, I couldn't sleep. I couldn't even eat. I couldn't think straight. I brought it home with me when I got back from Arizona. But it's funny because, like, the players didn't care. They're out there having a good time. They're playing. They're competing. It's not like, I mean, they're all friends and they're having a good time traveling. But I had all this plan in my head, and I had to come. Like, I mean, it affected my actual like health in my personal life. How do you, as a coach, as a coach in those moments, what's like what have you learned in order to deal with some of the hard parts as a coach, whether it's a loss in a championship or it's a loss somewhere? How do you handle that? Because it feels like the coaches take it harder than the kids sometimes.
Oh, for sure. And that's what I tell the kids. I'm so passionate on the side. I want to just bleed that through you. Like, I can't come out on the floor and do it for you, but I promise you I would if I could. Like, I'm that passionate. And I think that's where I'm such a believer. And this goes back to the like real world stuff. If we can just do our best to prepare, then we have to be okay at the end of how it goes. And to this day, still, I have not watched the championship game. Like, but I know I prepared in every little way. And did it go the way we'd wanted to or what we expected? No. But I still knew at the end of the day, we prepared ourselves in every facet. Watched film. And I think that's what you have to in life. You prepare, you have to feel good. Wherever it lands, it lands. You have, if you felt, because I know there have been many times like even in a games in my early years of coaches, like, okay, I've seen them enough. Let's just get to the game. And I did no preparation, and I just fumed myself because I was so angry that I didn't take the time, even though I thought I knew. And I think, and that's where we have to just prepare. No different. Study the best you can for this test. And at the end of the day, if that's what it is, go back and we start all over again. And I think that's where I've had, and obviously experience has helped me, because my early years, it's like I was so angry, and then I'd go home and I'd be so angry, and people around, it's like, it's just a game. Well, no, it's not just a game. Like, I'm that passionate about it. But I've learned that the better I'm prepared, I feel better that, okay, it just didn't go our way. And some things, man, I sure missed. Like, if I'd have done a little different, but I'll remember that, take note of it, go back and re-prepare in preparation for the next, and I'll do that, So I think that it just comes with experience, and even young athletes, it comes with experience. So the more prepared we are, I think is it ever going to be easy? Heck no. Like, I'm still, like I said, it's a pit in my stomach that will never go away, but I'm preparing myself even more. So
I love that advice. And I hope every coach, including myself, takes note on that specific one. Just preparation is huge. Prepare, know that you prepared well, and athletes too. And then live with the results. If you've done it well, then you can live with the results. It's a little easier, I should say, to digest that and
For
live
sure.
with it.
It's never going to be great because nobody, I mean, any athlete and any competitor never loves to lose. But what can we learn from, from that? So.
No, I like that a lot. And then one of the last questions, I got two left, but this one right here is important to me because I'm experiencing it right now in my full-time work, right? Like there's a lot of high pressure situations. As a marketing director, there's a lot of people that report to me at work, and they're always kind of like looking to, when things start going a little bit crazy, they're always looking to the captain, right? So to speak. I'm not calling myself captain, but they look to the person to see like, okay, how are they reacting? And it's similar to coaching, right? And I heard about this from one of the guys at the PGC camp, and he talked about this a few years back about like, okay, team goes on a 20-0 run, or let's say it's an 8-0 run, and the momentum's completely shifted, and everyone's screaming, they're yelling at each other. The players are yelling at each other. Coach calls timeout. He's mad. He said, timeout. And then they're still yapping at each other. Referees have made a bad call. Crowd's going crazy. Other teams hooting and hollering. And all of a sudden, the coach has 60 seconds in the huddle to like rally the troops, right? And things are going wild. And he said, that's the storm, right? That's what the guy said. He goes, I call that the storm. Now, how do we handle the storm? How do we navigate the storm? Well, they're typically looking to the captain. Like if the flight's going up and down, who do you look for? The turbulence hits, the flight attendants. Are the flight attendants freaking out? No, we're fine. We're calm.
Right.
So when the storm hits in a sporting event, which is similar to real life, in my own experience, I'm experiencing it right now. Like we're getting thrown around a million directions. People are looking to you. How do you prepare yourself to stay calm in the storm so that your players, even if you're still passionate, you're fired up inside too. You want to scream at the referee because you think it will do well to get a T. Maybe it sparks fire, but there's a lot of things going on. How do you stay calm in the storm as a coach?
That's come with experience too, because there have been a lot of times that I'm grateful that I've surrounded myself, and I'm really a believer in this, and maybe this might help you where you're at, Jay. It's just of who you're surrounded by. Like I have a sea of great coaches around me that can see that too. You're only as good as what you're surrounded, right? We've heard that our whole life. Like and I know so many times in passionate, like, call the timeout, I'm like, get over here now. Let's come on. And then I have, which I'm so grateful for, literally co-captain is what I call him, because Roe, my assistant coach, Roe, is like, Mare, bring it down. They are looking at him like, I got you. Thank you. Like you truly are as good as what you're surrounded with, because we all do get in moments of and I hope that I would be that for somebody else. Like hopefully you have coworkers and teammates that are saying, hey, James, we're still looking at you, but hey, just know we got you. Like, it's okay. Like bring it down and we're going to be there for you. Like, let's head the storm head on. And I think that just has come with experience, because there are at times like I do get heated, and I'm just like grateful that I have people that are like, hey, we know you, but hey, bring it down, let them know, like we got to regroup. And that's one thing I've always said to them though, is stick together. And maybe that's with your team of hype. It's like, stay together, stay the course. It will work out. However it's supposed to, it will work out. Just stay the course, but stay together. The more that one tree of one little limb falls this way, it takes it all away. You've got to stay intermingled and tight. So that's where I'm always like this on the court. You'll just see me stay together, when it's falling apart, and I A, may not have a timeout, or B, I don't have my assistant coach saying, hey, Mare, you're good. We're good. Let's stay the course. So I think it is. But it does come with experience, because I'm telling you, I mean, one of my earliest, like, timeout, give them the shot, and then they walk away, and I'm like, well, that didn't help.
Yeah.
So, but it has over the years, as I've surrounded myself with good people that I trust and know the game and know that I'm as passionate too, no different than them, but that they keep the course and stay the course. And I think that always helps. I really do. You see it. You see it. Things go in a game of runs. We know that's the game. It's a game of runs. So at some point that run's going to end, but how are you going to stay together to make it happen? And so if we start bickering and it goes back and forth and it's your fault or this, and we don't stay together, I said, those train wheels fall off quick. So just stay together, chip away one possession at a time, and we can do this. And it's amazing how just in those concepts in their mind, massively help them. And I'm just grateful like I am. I mean, I couldn't be where I'm at without who's been surrounded I'm by. And I'm such a firm believer in that. You're only as good as what you got around you. I mean, I'm no great coach. I can't say that if I didn't have who I have with me.
I
So
love it. Surround yourself with the right people, and big
yeah,
things can happen.
big
Stay
things.
together. Couple of notes here. I already took them down. So I always encourage people who are listening to the show, if you're listening to it on your phone or whatever, take notes on the notepad there that's on your phone. It's awesome. Last question for you, Coach. Where do you expect to see yourself in the next 5 years? I know you've had a lot of success. You're a Middleton, bred, you've been there, you're there. Here in Idaho, do you have aspirations to coach at the next level outside of your club?
I do. I love being an advocate of strong women for women. I'm passionate about the game. I love just what it does for people and what it's done for me in my life. And I just want to like almost pay it forward, and not in a sense that I have to touch anyone. I just want to like live through that. And yes, I mean, when it is time, if it ever is time, yes, the next level I would love to experience. And if it doesn't, I'm okay too. I love the game. I'm just happy, honestly, where I'm at right now of just helping these young girls, see the bigger picture. And yet in the midst of it, let's go fight for it. Let's fight for something, and let's just get after it together. And I'm really excited for this coming year. I really am. I'm grateful that the Idaho Athletic Association was able to just hear our plea of like why we wanted to move up, and nothing more than to keep the competitive spirit, and I'm excited to compete at the 6A with our girls and see what comes from that. So
we're excited to watch you, Coach. It's gonna be super cool. You got a fan in me. I've already been watching. So I'm stoked to see what you do. So it's gonna be super cool.
I appreciate it. Honestly, this is you're doing a great thing. I think it's so good in a platform to allow people of different backgrounds and different, visions to be able to, because that's all I want is to help people understand the bigger picture of it all, but yet just give your all while you're in it, and no matter what it is. And I've always been that. It's like, you got this, like, be the best that you can be right where you're at. So just do it.
I love it. I appreciate your time tonight. I want to say thank you and appreciate all the listeners who have tuned into this podcast as well. I hope you guys enjoyed it as well and you took some notes. Yes. For all those who are listening, make sure you hit that subscribe button on whichever platform, because we'll be coming to you next week with another interview. But Coach B, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Absolutely, James. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. You have a great night.
You too. Thank you.
Okay. See ya.
Guys, thanks so much for listening to another episode of my show. Now, if you could go and do me a favor, head over to iTunes, give me 5 stars, and leave me a review, it would be greatly appreciated. Thanks, guys. Appreciate your support.